Imagine you're sitting in a quiet room, your eyes fixed on a blank wall. Suddenly, your mind drifts. Perhaps you're no longer thinking about the room, but replaying a conversation from yesterday, or imagining a dream vacation in the mountains. This mental escape is what we call daydreaming, a journey our brain takes, often without us even realizing. But why does our mind wander like this? Why do we sometimes feel lost in thought when we should be focusing? Is daydreaming just a waste of time, or is there something deeper happening inside our heads? Today, we're diving into the science of mind wandering, exploring what happens in the brain, why daydreaming can actually boost creativity and problem solving, and how we can learn to embrace this wandering mind rather than fight it. To understand why we daydream, we need to look inside the brain. Contrary to the old belief that the brain is mostly active only when we focus on a task, neuroscientists have discovered something called the default mode network, or DMN for short. This network is active when the brain is at rest, not focused on the outside world. The DMN connects various brain regions, including the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and parts of the parietal lobe. When you daydream, this network lights up, showing that your brain is far from idle. What does the DMN do? It's thought to support self-referential thinking, that is, reflecting on yourself, your memories, your future plans, and your inner world. In other words, when your mind wanders, you're often thinking about yourself or imagining scenarios, rather than reacting to the external environment. But the DMN doesn't work alone. There's also the executive control network, responsible for attention and task management, and the salience network, which helps switch between focusing on the outside world and the internal mind. Interestingly, research shows that during creative thinking or problem solving, these networks communicate closely, allowing the brain to both wander freely and maintain some focus. So daydreaming is really your brain juggling between introspection and external attention, a dynamic dance that lets your mind explore ideas, memories, and possibilities. Many great thinkers and artists have credited daydreaming for their breakthroughs. For example, the famous chemist Auguste Kekulé dreamed of a snake biting its own tail, which inspired the structure of the benzene molecule. Daydreaming allows the brain to make connections between ideas that might not surface during focused thinking. It's like giving your mind the freedom to wander in search of new insights. Beyond creativity, daydreaming plays a role in future planning. When your mind drifts, it often simulates possible scenarios. What if you applied for a new job, or how a conversation might go? This mental rehearsal helps you prepare for upcoming challenges. Daydreaming is also linked with emotional regulation. Reflecting on memories and imagining positive futures can boost mood and motivation. It gives us space to process feelings and resolve internal conflicts. Scientific studies have found that people who daydream moderately tend to have higher IQs, better memory, and enhanced problem-solving skills. The key is moderation. Not all daydreams are equally helpful, but when balanced, mind wandering supports mental health and cognitive flexibility. But not all daydreaming is beneficial. When mind wandering is excessive or focused on negative content, it can lead to distraction, decreased performance, and even emotional distress. For example, if your mind drifts while driving, operating machinery, or during important tasks, it can cause mistakes or accidents. Psychologists also link certain types of daydreaming, especially repetitive negative rumination, to anxiety and depression. Instead of creative thinking, the mind can get stuck in loops of worry and regret. In studies where participants were asked to report their thoughts, those who spent more time mind wandering were often less happy, unless their wandering was pleasant or goal-directed. The challenge, then, is not to eliminate daydreaming, but to guide it. Learning to recognize when your mind is drifting towards unproductive or harmful patterns is essential. Mindfulness practices, cognitive behavioral techniques, and even simple awareness can help manage these less helpful daydreams. So how do we harness daydreaming instead of fighting it? First, accept that mind wandering is natural. Trying to suppress it completely only causes frustration. Instead, set aside intentional daydream time, moments where you allow your mind to wander freely without guilt. A quiet walk, a shower, or even staring out a window can spark productive daydreams. Second, practice mindfulness to improve your awareness of when your mind drifts. This helps you catch unhelpful daydreams and gently return focus. Third, use daydreaming for problem solving. When facing a challenge, try letting your mind roam around different ideas without pressure. Write down spontaneous thoughts or sketch concepts that arise. Finally, balance is key. Alternate focused work sessions with breaks for mental wandering. The famous Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes focus, 5 minutes break, aligns well with this rhythm. With practice, you can transform daydreaming from a distraction into a powerful creative and planning tool. Daydreaming is often misunderstood. It's more than just an escape or distraction. It's a window into how our minds process the world, imagine possibilities, and prepare for the future. By understanding the neuroscience and psychology behind mind wandering, we can learn to embrace our wandering minds with curiosity rather than frustration. So the next time your thoughts drift away, instead of scolding yourself, consider what new insights or creative sparks might be waiting there. After all, our minds were designed not only to focus, but to roam, and within that roaming lies the potential for discovery, creativity, and growth.
Thank you for exploring the science of daydreaming with me today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the wandering mind, please like, subscribe, and share your own daydream experiences in the comments below. Remember, your mind's journey is just as important as your destination.